In every story, the villain loses. The tyrant falls. The rebel triumphs. The hero restores the balance. That's the myth we've told ourselves for generations. But what if the myth is wrong? What if the tyrant was right? Victor Von Doom has been called many things. Madman, dictator, monster. But beneath the iron mask isn't chaos. It's control. While heroes argue over morality, Doom builds systems. While the Avengers fracture under pressure, Doom stands unshaken. While gods flee collapsing dimensions, Doom stitches together a new one from the ashes. He ruled a world. He healed a multiverse, not because he was chosen, but because he took responsibility when no one else would. Reed Richards may be the smartest man alive, but even he couldn't hold the universe together. Doom could. Doom did. Maybe Doom's not the villain. Maybe he's the only one who ever understood what it truly means to save the world. Doom rules, and it works. Dr. Doom doesn't inspire you. He doesn't want to. He's not a symbol. He's not a dream. He is a system that functions. In a world teetering on the edge of collapse, where alien invasions, demonic incursions, multiversal tears, and time paradoxes happen weekly, there's something almost comforting about Victor Von Doom. He doesn't react. He doesn't spiral into moral panic or bureaucratic indecision. He acts, and he gets results. Latveria is a fictional country, but in the Marvel Universe, it's one of the safest, cleanest, most technologically advanced nations on Earth. Under Doom's iron rule, there is no crime, no war, no political corruption, no poverty, and, most controversially, no democracy. But ask a Latverian citizen if they would rather live under the Avengers' watch in New York or Doom's control in Latveria, and many would choose the green cloak over the red, white, and blue shield. Because in Latveria, the streets are clean, the food is accessible, the borders are secure. The villains don't break out of prison every 2 weeks. People sleep soundly knowing their ruler won't ask for permission to protect them. He just will. This isn't a matter of opinion. It's not theoretical. This is how Doom governs. He runs Latveria like a precision instrument, one he built himself, and despite his flaws, and there are many, he rarely lets it fall out of tune. He doesn't campaign, he doesn't negotiate, he simply declares, "I am Doom. You are safe." Now let's widen the lens. What happens when the entire multiverse is at stake? When time is breaking, worlds are colliding, and existence itself is dying? Do the Avengers rise? Do the X-Men solve it? Does Reed Richards pull another last-minute genius maneuver? No. In Secret Wars, 2015, every hero fails. The multiverse collapses. Earths crash into Earths. Gods fall. Civilizations are wiped clean. And then, Doom does what none of them could. He seizes the power of the Beyonders, beings beyond comprehension, and rewrites reality. Literally. He pieces together the shattered fragments of existence into one world, Battleworld, a patchwork planet stitched together by magic, science, and willpower. And he rules it. Not for a moment, not for a breath, but long enough to hold it all together. Now, let's be clear. Battleworld isn't a utopia. It's a Frankenstein's monster of geography, timelines, and rewritten histories. Doom doesn't pretend otherwise, but it functions. It lives. People go to work. Children grow up. Kingdoms trade. Laws exist. Society survives. That alone is a miracle. Think about this. Every other god in the Marvel Universe, be it Odin, the Celestials, even cosmic abstracts like eternity or infinity, has let their world fall apart at least once. But Doom, he picked up the shattered bones of reality and gave them form. Not because he wanted to be worshipped, not because he believed he was the chosen one, but because someone had to. And that's where the discomfort begins. Because Doom didn't save reality the right way. He didn't gather a council. He didn't ask permission. He didn't form a multiversal committee. He acted. Without ego? No. Doom is proud, arrogant, domineering. But ineffective? Never. Battleworld may have been born of hubris, but it endured because of structure, because Doom imposed order, because Doom understood something that many so-called heroes never seemed to. The world doesn't need idealism when it's dying. It needs discipline. It needs decisions. It needs someone who won't flinch when everything starts to burn. Let's not romanticize him. Doom is a tyrant. He has committed atrocities. He's crushed rebellions, erased identities, rewritten memories. He has ruled with fear, but he has ruled. Where others falter, he executes. Where others debate, he decides. Where others collapse under moral complexity, he thrives in it. Latveria wasn't built by dreamers. It was built by Doom. Battleworld wasn't preserved by gods. It was preserved by Doom. And the Marvel Universe, in its most critical moment, owed its survival not to the heroes who graced magazine covers, but to the man behind the iron mask, quietly, ruthlessly, successfully holding the fabric of reality together with both hands. And when Reed Richards finally returns, when the true hero comes back to take Doom's place, we're expected to cheer. But ask yourself, what did Reed build while Doom ruled? Nothing. He watched it burn. Doom rebuilt it. So when you call Victor Von Doom a villain, understand what that means. It means he succeeded where others failed. It means he ruled, and people lived. It means he imposed order on the most chaotic narrative machine ever created, the Marvel multiverse. And no one said thank you. Order over freedom? Doom's ideology. Victor Von Doom does not believe in freedom, not the romanticized version the Avengers fight for, or the idealistic abstraction that defines the X-Men's cause. Doom believes in function, in survival, in the machine of civilization operating without interruption. To him, freedom is a luxury you earn only after order has been established. He doesn't trust the masses to govern themselves because, in his view, they've never proven they can. He sees democracy as a system built on compromise, manipulation, and inevitable collapse. Give people too many choices, and they will make the wrong one. Give them leaders, and they will betray them. Give them power, and they will destroy each other. Doom has seen it firsthand. From the chaos of Sokovia to the streets of Manhattan to the interdimensional debris of collapsing timelines, he has watched the so-called free world eat itself alive in the name of liberty. He doesn't reject freedom out of malice. He rejects it because he studied it, lived through its failures, and come to the conclusion that freedom without structure is a ticking time bomb. Doom's ideology is rooted in his experience as a scientist, a sorcerer, and a ruler. He understands cause and effect better than most beings in the multiverse. He doesn't hope things will get better. He calculates how to make them better, whether the people want that improvement or not. He believes in optimization, in hierarchy, in predetermined roles, and most of all, in the responsibility of power. If you have the ability to prevent disaster, you have the obligation to do so, even if it means denying people the illusion of choice. In Doom's world, safety comes first, clarity comes second, freedom comes last. And maybe that's why it works. Latveria doesn't fall into civil war. It doesn't deal with supervillains escaping every other month. It doesn't rely on masked vigilantes or unstable alliances. It functions because Doom allows it to. He provides, he protects, he controls. And to Doom, that's not tyranny. It's leadership. He doesn't see himself as cruel. He sees himself as necessary. When he rules Battleworld, he doesn't create a paradise. He creates stability. When he governs Latveria, he doesn't promise perfection. He promises order. He doesn't hide the cost. He embraces it. To Doom, morality is secondary to sustainability. Compassion is valuable only when it doesn't weaken the structure. Emotion has a place, but never at the expense of efficiency. This worldview doesn't make him cold. It makes him committed. Where other leaders worry about approval ratings, Doom worries about infrastructure. While heroes sit in round-table discussions debating the ethics of action, Doom has already moved the pieces. He has already fortified the walls. He has already outmaneuvered the threat. Not because he doesn't care, but because he cares differently. He believes that pain can be managed, that suffering can be reduced, not by inspiration, but by calculation. The truth is, Doom's ideology makes people uncomfortable because it forces them to confront their own contradictions. We claim to value freedom, but we trade it every day for convenience. We accept surveillance in exchange for security. We tolerate injustice in exchange for predictability. Doom doesn't hide that trade. He names it, owns it, and weaponizes it. He builds a world on it. And it works. Even Reed Richards, Doom's intellectual rival and moral opposite, has admitted that Doom's model is efficient. Reed may not agree with Doom's vision, but he can't deny its results. And deep down, that's what terrifies the Marvel Universe the most. Not that Doom is wrong, but that he might be right. Because if Doom is right, then every hero who stood in his way wasn't defending justice, they were defending chaos. If Doom is right, then freedom isn't the solution, it's the problem. If Doom is right, then the Marvel Universe doesn't need more heroes. It needs more rulers, not idealists, not rebels, not saviors, but architects, enforcers, visionaries. Doom sees a world on fire and doesn't wait for consensus. He builds the firebreak. He resets the grid. He imposes the law. And then, when the smoke clears, the world still turns. That's Doom's ideology. Not peace through compassion, but peace through structure. Not unity through belief, but unity through command. It's terrifying, it's unyielding, and worst of all, it works. Reed Richards is Doom's foil, not his superior. Reed Richards is everything Victor Von Doom is not, at least on the surface. He is humble where Doom is proud, collaborative where Doom is authoritarian, empathetic where Doom is unyielding. He's the genius with a conscience, the explorer driven by curiosity rather than conquest. He wears no crown, commands no army, and holds no nation in his fist. And yet, Reed Richards has broken the world more times than Dr. Doom ever has. He has built machines that shatter the dimensional veil, mapped the multiverse like a chessboard, and assembled entire councils of alternate versions of himself. Brilliant, calculating, emotionally distant reflections who, more often than not, spiral into arrogance and collapse. Reed is a man who believes in possibilities, but not always in people. He trusts in systems, in variables, in logic, but often fails to grasp the emotional collateral of his choices. His intentions are pure. His outcomes are not. Because for all his brilliance, Reed Richards fails in one crucial area: control. He doesn't have it. He doesn't want it. He believes the world should be free to choose, even when those choices lead to destruction. That's where he and Doom diverge, not in intellect, but in philosophy. Reed wants to guide. Doom wants to lead. Reed builds prototypes. Doom builds nations. Reed pulls back at the edge of godhood. Doom steps forward and claims it. And in that space, the moral high ground becomes foggy. Because while Reed fears becoming a tyrant, Doom has already accepted that title, if it means saving what matters. It's not that Reed is more moral, it's that he needs to be seen as moral. Doom doesn't have that need. He isn't performing goodness for others. He's executing a vision he truly believes is best, even if the world hates him for it. This contrast is most obvious in their shared history. From their days as rival students to their eternal struggle over Latveria, science, and the soul of the world, Reed and Doom aren't just enemies. They're mirror images, warped by ideology. Doom sees Reed as the man who had every advantage and still hesitates. Reed sees Doom as the man who had potential and ruined it with pride. But what if both are wrong about each other? What if Reed's hesitation isn't morality but fear? Fear of what he could become if he embraced absolute power. And what if Doom's pride isn't just ego, but a shield for the crushing weight of responsibility no one else will carry? The more you look, the less one becomes the hero and the other the villain. Instead, they become two philosophies in combat, one that believes people should be guided and one that believes people must be ruled. The tragedy is that Reed Richards often gets the benefit of the doubt, because he speaks softly, because he wears blue instead of green, because he calls himself a scientist instead of a sovereign. But Reed's actions have had consequences far beyond Latveria's borders. He has meddled with timelines, experimented with unstable technologies, unleashed cosmic threats, and erased entire realities. And while he apologizes for those choices, he rarely takes accountability for the systems that allowed them. He believes he can learn from every mistake, without ever needing to change the core belief that he's always right in the end. Doom, by contrast, owns his failures. He doesn't deflect blame. When his nation suffers, he doesn't hold a press conference. He rebuilds it himself. When the multiverse dies, he doesn't search for heroes. He becomes a god and fixes it. Not perfectly, not nobly, but effectively. Even in Secret Wars, the ultimate showdown between Doom and Reed is not one of power, but of belief. Reed confronts Doom not just to take back the world, but to prove that heroism doesn't require control. Doom, on the other hand, challenges Reed to accept that leadership sometimes means doing what no one else will. Their battle is less about physical domination and more about who deserves to shape the future. In the end, Reed wins. He takes the power of the Beyonders and rewrites reality. But he doesn't rule it. He doesn't manage it. He resets it and walks away. Because Reed Richards never wanted to hold the universe together. Doom did. Reed wanted to preserve potential. Doom wanted to enforce survival. So when we say Reed Richards is Doom's opposite, we're missing the point. He's not opposite. He's parallel. They are two sides of the same cosmic coin. One side afraid to become a tyrant, the other willing to bear the title if it means the machine keeps running. Doom is not lesser than Reed. He is not inferior. He is not simply corrupted by envy. He is a reflection of Reed without hesitation, without limits, without guilt. And the uncomfortable truth is, in moments of absolute crisis, when ideals fall apart and democracy fails and the world needs to be rebuilt, it's not Reed Richards they call. It's Doom. Secret Wars proved his point. When the multiverse died, no hero stood tall. No council of geniuses, no pantheon of gods, no alliance of defenders could stop what was coming. The incursions, Earths colliding with Earths, were unstoppable. Universe after universe erased in flashes of cosmic annihilation. Civilizations turned to ash. Reality itself unspooled like thread cut loose from the loom. Every mind in the Marvel universe knew the end was coming, and no one could stop it. Not the Illuminati, who hid and delayed. Not the Avengers, who fought without solutions. Not Reed Richards, who built machine after machine and watched them fail. Not even the Celestials or the Living Tribunal. But Doom did not watch. Doom did not delay. He did what no one else dared to do. He acted. He struck a bargain with Molecule Man, absorbed the power of the Beyonders, beings that exist beyond time, thought, and comprehension, and with their energy, he rewrote the rules of existence. Not through faith, not through hope, through sheer force of will, and with it, he built Battleworld, a world cobbled together from the shattered remains of dead realities. A Frankenstein Earth composed of fragments, contradictions, paradoxes, stitched together not by elegance, but by necessity, and he ruled it. Not as a tyrant hidden in the shadows, but as a god who walked openly among his creation. His name became law, his voice, decree, his power, the thread holding all of existence together. And for a time, it worked. Think about what that means. The greatest minds in the multiverse failed. Doom didn't. The heroes we admire most, Reed Richards, T'Challa, Stephen Strange, could not save the world. But Doom did, not by accident, not by luck, but by embracing control at a level no other being would accept. He did not preserve individuality. He did not maintain democratic order. He chose structure, obedience, hierarchy, and it held. While entire timelines had collapsed, Battleworld survived. People lived, worked, grieved, and hoped within its mismatched continents. There was pain, yes. Fear, yes. But there was continuity. There was life. And Doom held it all together with no script, no precedent, no consensus. Just discipline. And here's the cruel irony. Even in godhood, Doom was not praised. He was feared, resented, doubted. Because deep down, the Marvel Universe cannot accept a villain doing what its heroes could not. It's not that Doom failed to save the world, it's that he succeeded, and in doing so, he proved that their systems, their committees, their ideals weren't enough. Doom was not fighting for legacy. He wasn't trying to win anyone's affection. He simply understood the assignment. Survival first, morality second. Reed tried to solve the incursions. Doom stopped them. Strange tried to find another way. Doom made the only way. And when Reed finally returned, late, empty-handed, full of judgment, he didn't offer a better solution. He just offered to take the power back. The battle between them wasn't over who could save the world. It was over who should. And when Reed won, it wasn't because Doom was defeated in strength. It was because Doom, in a moment of rare vulnerability, admitted that Reed would have done it better. That small admission gave Reed the moral edge. And just like that, Doom surrendered the power. But what gets lost in the poetry of that moment is this. Doom was holding the world together when no one else could. He only let go because he chose to, not because anyone stopped him. Secret Wars wasn't a defeat. It was a vindication. Doom had already proven his point. When ideals collapse, when structures fail, when the stakes surpass every known measure, Doom is the one who can rebuild. And for all his ego, for all his ruthlessness, he didn't burn Battleworld down in a fit of pride. He passed it on. He accepted that his role was over. That is not villainy. That is leadership. We may not like the way Doom rules. We may find his methods brutal, his personality insufferable, his control suffocating. But when the chips were down and the multiverse lay in ruins, it wasn't a hero who saved reality. It was Doom. Heroes borrow Doom's methods, then judge him for it. They call Victor Von Doom a tyrant, a despot, a megalomaniac. They label him a villain not because he kills indiscriminately or seeks destruction, but because he imposes control, because he builds systems where others build ideals. because he makes decisions without apology, without approval, without the permission of people who are too afraid to do what must be done. But what they never say out loud, what they never admit, is that almost every so-called hero in the Marvel universe has borrowed Doom's methods when it suited them. And then, once their crisis passed, once their hands were clean, they point back at Doom and say, "But not like that." Tony Stark once created a prison in another dimension. He didn't ask for permission. He didn't hold a vote. He built Prison 42, a superhuman gulag hidden in the negative zone, to contain those who refused to register with the government. It was invisible to the public, immune to oversight, and operated under the assumption that freedom was a secondary concern. Reed Richards helped design it. Hank Pym approved it. All of them agreed that safety was more important than liberty, at least for a little while. And when the public turned against them, when the optics soured, they blamed the system, not themselves. But the truth is simple. They became Doom. They just didn't have the courage to wear his face. Charles Xavier has erased memories, dozens, hundreds. He has rewritten people's minds, edited trauma, deleted resistance. For the sake of peace, for the sake of progress, he's formed secret councils. He's built psychic weapons. He's made choices that would terrify any civilian if they knew the full extent of his reach. And yet, the X-Men are celebrated. Their struggle is glorified. Charles is called a dreamer, a martyr. But what separates him from Doom? Is it his smile, his soft voice, or is it simply that his version of control hides behind the language of hope? T'Challa, king of Wakanda, has spied on the world without their knowledge for decades. He's created countermeasures, contingency plans, fallback weapons, quiet protocols for when the world spins too far off balance. He doesn't ask for input. He doesn't ask for trust. He acts. And when he's caught, when the truth emerges, the world forgives him. They say, he had to do it. He was protecting us. But Doom has heard that excuse before. He just never felt the need to disguise it. And then there's Reed Richards, Doom's eternal rival, the man worshipped for his genius and restrained morality. But Reed has mapped realities without consent. He's meddled in timelines, toyed with multiversal architecture, and even created a secret group of Reeds, an entire council of Reeds, who operated across dimensions with godlike arrogance. Some of them destroyed worlds, others enslaved civilizations. All of them shared one belief, that they knew better, that they should decide what lives, what dies, and what truths remain hidden. Reed disbanded the council when it grew too dangerous, but only after he helped build it. Only after it mirrored what Doom had done all along. The pattern is clear. When the stakes are high, the heroes stop playing fair. They stop negotiating. They stop defending abstract principles. They act like Doom. They suppress threats. They imprison without trial. They manipulate memories, hide truths, and rewrite reality. And when the dust settles, they apologize. They hold press conferences. They say it was all in service of the greater good, but they never admit the truth, that the world runs more smoothly when someone makes the hard decisions. That Doom's way, however brutal, is efficient. That Doom's style of leadership, however unpalatable, works. What separates Doom from the rest is not method, but honesty. He doesn't call it justice. He doesn't pretend it's liberation. He doesn't wrap it in the language of freedom. He calls it what it is: rule, order, sovereignty. He builds a system around himself, and he tells you plainly, I will protect you, whether you like it or not. There's no illusion, no moral theater, no crisis of conscience, just discipline, vision, and execution. The hypocrisy isn't that heroes do what Doom does. The hypocrisy is that they do it, then deny it. They borrow his toolbox, then discard it. They copy his methods, then destroy his reputation. But the people who live through the worst moments of the Marvel universe, the civilians caught in alien invasions, the families displaced by superhuman collateral damage, the nations ruined by interdimensional fallout, they don't care about who smiles more. They care about who delivers results. And in that equation, Doom doesn't lose. He leads. So maybe the real reason they call him a villain is because he doesn't flinch, because he doesn't apologize, because he doesn't hide behind costumes or catchphrases or team votes. He looks at the chaos of the world, and instead of asking for consensus, he imposes a solution. It's not gentle, it's not pretty, but it works. And in a universe full of heroes pretending to hold the moral high ground, maybe Doom's greatest crime is telling the truth. The price of being right. Being right doesn't mean being forgiven. It doesn't mean being trusted. It doesn't mean being remembered as a savior. For Victor Von Doom, being right has always come at a cost that no other character in the Marvel universe has been willing or capable of paying. Because when Doom acts, he doesn't expect gratitude, he doesn't seek applause, he doesn't leave a legacy built on ideals or dreams. He builds walls, systems, worlds, and when those things work, no one says thank you. Because no one wants to admit that the man they called a monster was the one who saved them. That is Doom's punishment. Not exile, not imprisonment, not defeat, but silence. To do what must be done and be hated for it. To fix what others broke and be cast as the villain. That is the burden of being right when your method challenges everything people believe about heroes and morality. Reed Richards gets parades. Captain America gets murals. Iron Man gets monuments. Doom gets none of it. Because Doom doesn't care about being loved. And in a world built on symbols and slogans, someone who rejects admiration is seen as a threat to the entire story. Doom is feared because he exposes a lie that keeps the Marvel universe spinning. That heroism is about intentions. That as long as you try your best, your failures are excused. That morality is more important than outcome. But Doom doesn't care what you meant to do. He cares what you accomplished. He doesn't value dreams. He values function. And when heroes fail upward, when they cause destruction in the name of righteousness, Doom doesn't weep or rage. He rebuilds what they broke. Then he waits. And when the cycle repeats itself, when another disaster spirals out of control, Doom rises again, not to be celebrated, but because he must. But here's the truth. Doom doesn't just carry the weight of a nation. He carries the knowledge that even when he succeeds, he will be remembered as a villain. That the better the world functions under his rule, the more terrifying he becomes to those who need their illusions to feel safe. That every victory he achieves will be reframed as manipulation, every act of protection as domination. That people will never ask why it worked. They'll only ask why he was the one allowed to do it. It's the paradox of Victor Von Doom. The more he proves himself, the more dangerous he appears. Because deep down, the Marvel universe doesn't fear that Doom will destroy it. It fears that he can fix it, and that he won't ask permission. He won't take a vote. He won't explain himself. He'll just do it. And that terrifies people more than any supervillain ever could. Because it means the fantasy of freedom, the illusion of shared power, is just that. An illusion. And Doom doesn't play an illusion. He tears it down. He rules in the aftermath. Even when he becomes a god, Doom doesn't rewrite history to make himself beloved. He doesn't demand universal worship. In Secret Wars, he doesn't erase Reed Richards or erase the memory of the incursions. He lets it all stay. Because he wants the world to remember that it broke, that it needed him, that it only survived because of him. And even when he lets go of the power, even when he admits Reed might have done better, it's not surrender, it's clarity. Doom's mission was never about being the last man standing. It was about making sure there was still a world left for anyone to stand on. And that's the price. To bear the weight of history and still choose to save it, to be the scapegoat of progress, to be the villain of necessity, to rule without comfort, without praise, without absolution. Because Doom doesn't believe the world owes him a thank you. He believes it owes him functionality. And if it cannot achieve that on its own, he will impose it, even if the world hates him for it. So the next time the sky tears open, the next time time itself collapses, the next time the gods vanish and the heroes fracture and the system grinds to a halt, don't ask who's still standing. You already know the answer. It won't be the ones with the catchphrases. It won't be the ones with the votes. It will be the man in green, the one with the iron mask, the one who doesn't flinch when the world breaks, because he's already rebuilt it before, and he'll do it again. Not because you asked, but because he was right. He's been called a monster, a tyrant, a villain. But Victor Von Doom doesn't fit in the boxes we built for lesser men. He doesn't chase admiration. He doesn't beg for redemption. He builds. He rules. He endures. While heroes fracture under their ideals, Doom stands alone, unforgiven, unrelenting, and unbroken. Maybe he's not the hero we wanted, but in a universe built on collapse, maybe he's the one we needed. Dr. Doom was right, and one day, when everything falls apart again, you'll remember that. This has been Superhero Explained. If this hot take hit harder than vibranium, hit subscribe, share it with a fellow heretic, and tell us in the comments. Was Doom right? Or just the best at pretending to be? Until next time, keep watching the world behind the mask.